We're going to take a look at bestreviews.com. My name is Doug Cunnington. I'm the founder of Niche Site Project. And this is part of the series where I tear down affiliate sites. I look at authority sites, niche sites, and other sites that are based on an affiliate model, and I critique them. So there's a lot that can be learned just by looking at what other people are doing. In this particular review of this site, bestreviews.com is one of the best in class. You'll see once we get into it, but let's hop over to the screen now. And we're taking a look at my site, Niche Site Project, and this is a list of affiliate site reviews. And basically, this teardown will consist of a couple different parts. So first, we'll take a look at what's happening as far as critical data on the site, and then we'll take a look at the site and literally review the homepage, review the about page, look at some reviews, and see how they shape the reviews. So let's get to it over here. So Best Reviews is a dinosaur in the internet age. It was founded back in 2003. And you can see that they have 168,000 words ranking in the top 100, which is, a lot by normal standards. However, I will say that other sites that are of the same caliber normally have a lot more keywords ranking in the top 100. So that sort of tells me right off the bat, they don't have as much clout in the SEO space. However, as we get into it, I believe they're more built on an advertising model. So we'll talk about that in a few minutes. But as we go on to the next one, the number of estimated monthly visitors from both SEMrush and SimilarWeb, well, there's a big discrepancy here. So SEMrush says there's only about 100,000 people visiting the site per month. SimilarWeb says 3.5 million. I'm pretty sure it's somewhere in the middle there. You can see they've had a nice trajectory. It looks like there wasn't much going on in this graph until 2014, even though the site was around for 11 years before that. But you can see kind of a nice uptick the whole time. No major issues with any of these red areas of notes, which denote Google algorithm updates. Next, as we move on, we can see that the domain authority is 52. That's the Moz metric. The trust flow is 21. There's about 330 index pages, which there's probably more at this time, but that's the data when I pulled this. Next is 3 metrics from SimilarWeb. So all these are approximations. So the average time on site is 56 seconds. Pages per visitor, 1.7, and then the bounce rate is 62.5%. Now, let's hop over to the site. And I think, it's worth mentioning now, I think I found the site because I saw one of their ads when I was doing some keyword research. And, I Googled some terms, and then their ad popped up first. So that's kind of why I think maybe this is built more in an advertising model. Because I don't see them in the SERPs that much. I see them in ads, but I don't see them in SERPs. So let's take a look at their homepage here. Now, they have a slider up top, so some images cycle through, but the main thing you see here is a search for the product. So you get over here, and then you have the ability to search. Now, I generally see that, or at least like when I hear about sliders, I hear they don't convert as well. However, since this one has a static search area, I think this probably works well. There's also, it's worth it to note, they also have a pretty simple logo. It's mostly text, but they have a little crown here in the review section for the E. They have a link to the about page, frequently asked questions. We'll take a look at both of those, by the way. And then another area to search. Now, the other thing they do is they hop right into, I guess it's some about us information. So as you scroll down, you'll see they have a beautiful landing page, right? So they are doing a good job as far as explaining what they do quickly. They say what we do. They provide comprehensive and trusted reviews for products that matter to consumers. So very clear, only 2 sentences, and you know right away what they do. As you scroll down, you see they have this video, how they do it, and the punchline is they buy all the products and actually review them, and they're, independent reviewers. So if you think back to like the Consumer Reports magazine or books that they would put out, this is kind of similar to that. So they talk about the research, and then they have a bit of a navigation here. So this is across several categories, and we'll take a look at some of these specific areas. But you'll see they have office, automotive, home, sports and fitness, miscellaneous, electronics, kitchen, tools and garden, health and beauty, baby appliances, and bed and bath. Now, you may be thinking each one of these categories could be its own site, and you're right. So if you're doing keyword research, this is probably a really good place to just go get ideas. They've sort of done the hard work for you. So you could, take a look, say at, I don't know, appliances here, and then, it explodes out into some specific things here. Now, I have reservations, how many people are really going to buy a dishwasher online? Well, I don't know. A washer and dryer? I'm not sure either. Around here, a lot of people like to go to the big box store and go buy them there so they can see them, see what they look like, turn the dials. But, times are changing. Maybe people buy those things online. So let's hop over back to the homepage since I got distracted there. Okay, then the other cool thing, which we'll see more of this in a second, they have another video here, the evolution of the desk. We'll see some images of that in a second. So as we scroll down, we see they have an opt-in box right here, and then a pretty standard type of footer navigation area here, and then social below. So, yep, this is this is one of the best looking landing pages that I've seen for a niche site. If you look at some other teardowns that I've done, there's some great ones out there. There's like the Sweet Home, the Wire Cutter, you have the Outdoor Gear Lab, Baby Gear Lab, and they do a great job. But when I look at this page versus those other pages, this looks like a modern, very nice looking landing page, and I love the way it looks. Now, as far as which one performs better, hey, I have no idea. I have no idea. Sometimes a less beautiful looking page won't convert as well. But at this point, let's hop over to the About Us page here. So here they sort of go into a lot more detail about what they do and how they do it. There's a little information on the homepage, but this goes into a lot more detail. And again, it just looks good, right? So they have some great designers on their team. There's white space. There's like a single column here. There's no distractions popping up. And the color scheme all fits together. It's mostly white and like a dark gray and sort of a gold color for some of the other highlighted text, which ties back to this E right here, the little crayon in the. So as we scroll down, we'll recognize some of the same data here. So I'm going to go a little bit more quickly. Here, that's a meat grinder of some kind there. Maybe it's part of a juicer or something like that. Oh, sorry. Yeah, that's a juicer. I used my meat grinder the other day. I made some fresh hamburgers, so I was thinking that's a meat grinder. They look very similar, by the way. Okay, as we're moving on here, they have high quality images. They're showing you that they're actually testing stuff here. There's like a coffee grinder or something. Here's the juicer, food processor. So they're going through here showing you to actually use the stuff. Here's like they're like hiking. They're using a water bottle, backpack, trekking poles. So they're actually using the stuff, and it's a nice scene, right? It looks like they're putting it through its paces here. So, okay. So we're scrolling down here. They are showing you even more stuff that just builds credibility. So they have where we test, and this is cool, right? So they just have people in lab coats doing stuff because it's a lab. That is authority right there. So they have labs in San Francisco. They're out in the field apparently, so they could test drones. And then they have Reno. Okay, so they have a couple labs out west. Product acquisition. So they're talking about how they buy the products. They get them for retail. They don't take free samples from the manufacturers, and that way they can be 100% objective. It's awesome. This is a huge differentiator between, what niche sites are usually sort of built around, which is just information and sort of critiquing a product based on information, but they actually use these things, and that's key. So you see like a dolly full of products here, testing products they labeled. So they go on to show you how big their team is. Now, I have no idea how much money the site makes. I'm assuming it's in the 7 figures, maybe 8 figures, because they have a huge staff. They have a hierarchy such that they have a VP of content, they have a COO, there's directors, managers, and there's just a whole lot of people. A lot of them are writers and editors, of course, because there's a lot of content out there. But the thing is, they have a huge staff, so that's how we can assess, that they are actually making a whole lot of money. Now, as we scroll down, I believe we're going to see some information about like the parent company. Hopefully, okay, maybe we don't get it here, but I'll take a look. I think maybe we can figure it out. They also have this nice social proof section where not only do they know what they're talking about because they have these professional folks working on the team, they also have been cited on many other sites, and these are sites and television shows, and these are some of the the most credible outlets there are, basically. Now, let's take a look. I don't see the link here, so maybe we'll see it in another spot. We'll go to frequently asked questions, where you can imagine there are frequently asked questions here for best review. And I'm trying to think if there's anything super interesting here. Okay, I'll just scroll down just to see if so they say, sure, you could link to it, of course. You can't copy the reviews, which is expected. So they occasionally hire new people, but you can't like try and put your guest post there, for example. So, okay, I thought we may be able to see some more about their parent company. Let's take a look at the contact page here. Okay. They don't give us much, so I must be thinking of a different site. So we'll move on and take a look at the Office Reviews page. So here we've clicked on the Office category, and you can see, again, they sort of have this nice header image and lots of white space. They just have an image and then whatever you want to dive down into. So they have a variety of different items that they do review. And they have a bit more, I guess, credibility in case a person somehow lands directly on the Office page. They do have information about how credible their site is around, paying retail for their items, and they are not and they're not getting anything from the manufacturers. So key distinction there. And here's the transformation of the Office. I mentioned that video before that they have on the homepage. So this is kind of cool. They got some old stuff. And they said that's what it looks like in 1980. And in 2017, there's like a laptop and a cell phone. So it's funny. My desk has looked a little bit like that at different times, but I could tell you then it definitely looks more like this one here. I mean, I don't have a phone or Rolodex or a fax machine, but I have a lot of paper around here and a lot of pencils and pens and even note cards and stuff. So I like paper a lot and notebooks. So I have a bunch of garbage around my desk here. Useful garbage, but there's a lot of stuff around. Okay, so let's take a look at some specific review pages. So we're going to take a look at desk chairs. So you will probably remember that this header image is the same one with a spinning chair as was on this page, but they just have different text. So they have a nice image. It's sort of like darkened a bit so that they can put the text on there, but this is a nice page, or a nice header image. They've just reused it. So that's pretty cool. I like that they did that. Now, as we look down, they don't even have any text above the fold. They just could jump right into their table. So you can see immediately they have, front and center the image, and then they have this sort of banner, best of the best, and then they have the best bang for the buck. So they have 5 items listed, right? They don't go too deep and put like 30 in here. They just have the 5 right here, so we don't suffer from decision fatigue because there's too many. And then if we know that we're on a budget, we're probably going to immediately check out this Boss Office Products, no tools required executive, and go from there. Now, I didn't realize it. I think I have this chair right here. So that's kind of funny. I didn't realize it until, pretty sure this is a chair I'm sitting in right now. It's a good one, by the way. Oops. This is the, if you click anything on here, it'll go to Amazon. So this whole column is a link to Amazon. Obviously, this is a custom-made theme, and it does exactly what they need it to do. You can see as I scroll down, they have like a hello bar type situation up here where you can click on the best of the best or the best bang for your buck, and then it goes on to allow you to click these, which actually are links over to Amazon. And you can probably see that they have their link over to Amazon. I can't point to it with a mouse, but I'll highlight it in the video. If you can see the link, they have, it doesn't say amazon.com/whatever. It has their own like best reviews URL, which is interesting. So as we go on here, so just an awesome table. So it's really cool that the whole column turns into a link. And you can see they say, check it out on Amazon, so that's really cool. The information is bottom line, the good and the bad. So very straight to the point, and it's concise. A lot of people probably just click on stuff on this table, but it turns out there's tons of content on here. So again, they talk about how they don't get the products for free. And as we scroll down, they get into who actually reviewed it. And the cool thing is this is super similar to a couple other teardowns that I've done on like the Sweet Home, the Wirecutter specifically, because they follow the same format. They talk about the products that they tested. And they pick out the top 2, more or less, on the Wirecutter and the Sweet Home. And then they talk about who reviewed it. They have a very cool looking like call out section here. It's an image of the guy. They talk about why he's an expert. They move on. Then they get into some of the details of the features and that sort of thing. And if you remember the niche site project, perfect Amazon review, it's an infographic more or less, but this is sort of the same format as well. So I don't spell out to have who's reviewing it, but we do talk about the features and these considerations that they mentioned. Now we will notice they do have a call out over here to sign up for their email list and also to follow them on Facebook. So that's a little bit a little bit of a departure. So it's still a single column, but they have a small, like 1/3 or 1/4 call out over here. They have some nice quotes here. So for people that are scrolling, this is great. You can get a little bit of an idea what's going on just because of the images and these quotes. You can see the headings. So if you're interested in certain ones, you can see what they have to say about those. They, as I'm scrolling down, it could be very interesting to have a bulleted section in each one of these chair breakouts. In some cases, there's some more interesting information with numbers. So I see 94% recyclable, 12 years, numbers. If there's anything with numbers, it's really good to put those in a bulleted list. So as we're scrolling down, they talk more about features of each of the models that they review, more images. And as I mentioned, this design, this site and theme is awesome just because the content's front and center and there's very few distractions. Now, as I mentioned before, because something looks nice doesn't mean it converts better. So there's definitely examples over and over again of sites that actually performed better with an uglier theme. So this looks nice, but I don't know if it's better. When you look at Outdoor Gear Lab or Baby Gear Lab, which are also in this playlist, you can see that those sites look a little bit messier and a little bit more crowded, like on the page, but there's no telling which one works better. So as we go on, they actually have credit for the other writers that worked on this particular post, and then their cool video of the evolution of the desk. And they encourage you to share that on Facebook or Twitter, and that's about it. So the interesting thing is there's a decent amount of content on the page as far as the written word, but it's not as much as I would have expected based on, I guess, like how long the page is. And part of that is because they use these huge graphics, really nice images. So, I mean, I think they're doing a really good job. Now, let's maybe take a look at one other, maybe something a little more technical, like, well, here's something I don't know anything about, 3D printers. So we'll look at just one more here, and you'll notice a few things. One, same image back there, just different text. They've also noted that it was updated in May of 2017, which I can tell you right now, well, behind the scenes is May 1st, 2017. So they're telling me that they updated this on this day, which I find a little bit unusual. It's like super early here, which is why my voice is so like crackly. Although, honestly, my voice was getting a little bit hoarse yesterday evening, so I'm not sure if it is only the fact that it is 6 o'clock in the morning and I've been up for a while already. But okay, let's get into it here. I'm getting distracted. So right off the bat, they're updating it often and they're telling you about it. First thing, this stuff is up to date. If you're interested in this highly technological 3D printer product line, then you're in the right place because we're really into keeping it updated. That's what it tells me. They have the best of the best. There's no economic choice here, right? I guess these things are just expensive. So that's cool. Same deal, simple table. Bottom line, good and bad. It's awesome. And this whole section here, this whole column is a link over to Amazon. So really cool how they've done that. And certainly some custom development behind that. I've never seen that in any other site, to my knowledge. So as we scroll down, again, they have the section of how they test. They're ensuring that they are independent reviews. Another cool thing. So they looked at 92 models. They spent 38 hours on this. They interviewed one expert and then talked to consumers consulted 193. So this is a huge amount of credibility. I sort of ignored this section here, but you don't even have to read a sentence. You can just see in 8 words and 4 numbers how credible and how much work went behind this. So when I see that, it makes me think, well, I don't even need to read anymore. I could just go pick the best of the best here, or any of these based on price, you know. So as we scroll down, you see they give a little intro here. And I like that it is sort of a narrow column here versus you know, the full width. If they had a full width, I guess, section of text here, the lines would be like one line long, but this just visually looks good, like a magazine. As we scroll down, we see the products to consider. So interesting, you know, these are not affiliate links right here. This is just images and text. So kind of cool they did that. They're just showing you what they are. Then we have the expert consultant, the person that reviewed, and they talk about in just a couple sentences why he knows what he's talking about. And you'll recognize, you know, this is the same format for all the reviews. So you get a really good idea when you look at a couple of these. They then talk about the features. They allow you to follow them on Facebook or sign up for the email list. It's an opt-in box. So they have a graphic here, sort of like the quote. It's just a little bit different format than the other one, but I'm sure they're going to have one of those quote callouts soon. Now this is good. The other review didn't have as many, you know, images in the sidebar. So this is, you know, just a little bit different, but oh, and it's sticky too. So cool. Interesting thing, they don't have a link here, so I would expect there to be a link somewhere in this text, probably in the caption. Oh, and then it goes away, and then we get a side call out quote here. I forget what you call those, but that sticks there for a little while too. Yep, as we're scrolling down, and you know, I'm not looking at any of the content, just how the page works. So all of this is really cool, how the sidebar is like the floating sidebar is sticking based on where you're at. So whenever I'm reading the review portion of a particular item, that's the image I see over here. Very cool. And then they have the best of the best. Now, funny thing, I would actually put the best of the best up at the top. That would be the first one that I listed. That's what the Sweet Home does, that's what the Wirecutter does, and it just makes more sense, right? Some people are not going to scroll all the way down to the bottom, so I would put this at the top. Then they have, this was not on the other view, but you can see now they want you to click this one. So they put a little bit more of a call out here. There's a gray box with a little crown to denote the winner. And then they have, you know, buy on Amazon here. So you can check the price, but you can see it down here, $8.99. So as we're scrolling down, there's a large quote, and then they have the best bang for your buck, which, again, interesting. They don't actually highlight this in the table, even though they have it listed. So again, I would put this like second. And this is what the Wirecutter does. Then, as we scroll down, we've reached the end, but they talk about the other people that helped out on this review. So that concludes the review of bestreviews.com. If you enjoyed this teardown, please consider subscribing to my channel. I go over, you know, not just niche sites, but internet marketing in general. I talk about keyword research. Sort of my specialty is Amazon affiliate sites, and you can read more about it at nichesiteproject.com. And if you're into these sort of things, you may want to sign up for the email list, where you can get about 15,000 keywords for profitable sites, including bestreviews.com. I give you about 1,000 keywords for each one of the websites. So it's pretty cool. Go check it out. Again, I'm Doug Cunnington from Niche Site Project. Thanks for watching.